I'm Robin from Western Mass, and I am thrilled to be here today with you guys. I struggled with multiple kinds of mites, springtails. They were brought into my house with guests who had fleas and bed bugs, so I also had that. And then they also brought in Morgellons, and it took me 3 years to figure out what I had, and then it took me a half a year to find Richard. And I had gone to my pastors in desperation, asked them to pray for me, and they prayed that God would bring me creative solutions. And the next day I found Richard's book, which was a lifesaver. And after, I don't know, between 4 and 6 months, I got clear. I got my house clear, and then I had dropped out of the call for a while. A lot of people do that after they get their life back. They just want to go on. But I realized I really wanted to give back to the group, and I became a coach. Since then, I have gotten reinfested with Christmas ornaments, and I'm doing much better. There's nothing coming out of my body anymore, and my house is improving exponentially, but it's not there yet. It'll take a while. So, and it's all because of the support from this call, Richard, the book, his protocols, following them carefully, the diet, which is key to everything. So Richard is in the 10th edition of this book. That's pretty amazing. And it's a free download. I mean, he gives the book away. You can buy hard copy for a really reasonable price, but it's also a free download. And that's because as more information comes to light, he updates the book. He has a blog with updated protocols. All this stuff is available to everyone, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So he's on this call every Sunday to answer questions, to give support. He's a very patient and compassionate man. I'm so grateful to be his co-host on this show. And I just want to welcome Richard Kuhns. Richard, you're not unmuted. I think either you have to do it or Chris has to do it. You're still... There you go.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Don't know what happened there. I got muted. I guess I was a bad boy. So welcome to Morgellons event of the week. This is being recorded and will be on YouTube. This is November 29th, the year 2020, a year to remember forever and ever. So we generally start the call with a particular subject, and recently I've been relying on Robin. She does a lot of coaching, and we try to make it, keep it with the challenges that she gets when she's coaching. And so what's our topic for the day, Robin?
Well, we have been talking about how there's always a cause and effect for things, and a lot of times when I'm coaching, people will say things to me like, everything was going great, and then all of a sudden this happened. But it isn't all of a sudden. It's either a place in the environment that you started cleaning or attacking that fought back. It's a mistake on the diet. It's clothes that you took out that hadn't been disinfected properly. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, and we need to be able... Christmas ornaments. Not going to happen this year. Yeah. Lots of reasons. So the problem is that with Morgellons, we have foggy brains and we panic all the time. So we can't think logically and creatively a lot of the time. And we can't, we may keep a diary, but then we forget to look at it to see what we're doing differently. we, we may do something totally different. We may leave a window open and our yard is infested and they come inside. I mean, there's so many different things that can happen. But we need to think clearly so we can figure out the cause, because there is always a cause and effect. And once we know that, it's easier to deal with. Then solutions present themselves. So that is what I remember that we were going to talk about. I hope.
Right. Well, yes, there is a cause and effect. The bottom line is, I've always said this, and I will continue to always say this, and that is, do the diet. Don't try the diet. Do the diet. It may take well, for me, it kicked in right away. And believe me, every one of you are very, very lucky that it kicked in right away for me, because otherwise I might have been discouraged like many people get because it didn't kick in right away for them. But time and time again, I know that if you are doing the diet, it's very precise. I don't think you can find another diet that is as detailed as this diet is, because it took me a year of, Robin mentioned diary. And the first thing, cause and effect, okay? The first thing we look at is the diet if we're messing up somehow on the diet, which is very easy to do. And that's where the diary is very valuable. And keeping a diary every day of what you're eating and how you feel 20 to 30 minutes after you eat, that's a good step in the right direction. But you also want to keep a diary of what your plans are for the day, what your expectations are for the day, how you are feeling each day, and rate it so that you can look back a month from now and you'll see, hey, I'm better off now than I was a month ago. But I wouldn't have known that unless I had a diary to look at, because I would have gotten into poor me, it's not working, nothing works for me, the cloud's falling on me, whatever. We get into panic. It's very easy for us to get into panic because we spent so much time in panic in dealing with these organisms. And now we have a path out. We have a path to getting our lives back, which is great. But it's not a straight path. My first co-host in this program, her name is Margie. Some of you may have remembered her. She always said, it's not a straight line. You have your ups and you have your downs. And this was true for me. It's true for everybody. Even when you think you know what you're doing, there are going to be ups and downs and surprises along the way that you had, like Robin said, you might have opened the window and they came in that way and you hadn't thought about that. For me, just 2 weeks ago, one of my heating zones was down and it wasn't working. And to get to the zone valve, I had to go into a crawl space. Well, it's been years since I've been in that crawl space. So I went into that crawl space and I sat on a bucket, and I was fiddling around with the zone valve to make sure it was working and everything. And later on that night, maybe around 2 a.m., I felt this weird feeling around my ankles. And a little light goes off of my head as I better pay attention to that. And a little later on, I felt this feeling still, like it feels, for me, it feels like something is consuming my flesh in small amounts. And I got up. Now, in the past, this would have meant, perhaps maybe 2 weeks of foot baths. And foot baths are great. And if people are affected and dramatically with the columbella, the foot bath is the way to go. But I've since learned that for a reinfestation of this nature, what I did is I put on a clean pair of socks. And I took the mouthwash / body wipe, which is Nature's Gift, the concentrated version of Nature's Gift, cinnamon and peppermint and minerals, and I wetted my socks. And I slept in wet socks. And in the morning, I made those socks wet again. And during the day, I made those socks wet again. And within 24 hours, it was gone. But had I realized the cause and effect, that could have been a major catastrophe. It could have cost me a year if I had not caught it in time and thought of what to do. It could have cost me a year of progress, a backslide. So it's important to watch the diet, to have the diary. If you're adding new foods, check the ingredients. You wanted to add something, Robin?
I do. You know, people, there's an echo because you need to lower your sound just a hair, Richard. People say, I'm doing the diet perfectly, but they don't consider vitamins. And they have all these vitamins that have ingredients that aren't on the diet. So, you know, when you read the diet, there's a lot of detail. You don't stop just on the list of foods. You need to actually read it. And there are plenty of vitamins, pretty much all vitamins almost, that you cannot have on stage 1. And you need to look at that. You need to read labels so carefully. You know, like the salt with the sugar in it or the stevia with the sugar in it. I mean, you just need to read labels. You could be perfect on the diet and taking a vitamin that totally offsets it.
That's very important. It has taken me 15 years to find a vitamin that is completely compatible with the diet. 15 years. And the vitamin that we now have is specifically designed for Lyme disease, and it has no offending ingredients. Doesn't have any minerals in it either. You know, typically all the vitamins you find are multiple vitamins, and they have minerals in. Well, that's good, but for some reason they end up having to add these binders and this other stuff that is not compatible with the diet. So our multiple vitamin is the only vitamin in the universe, as far as I know, that is completely compatible with the King diet. And then in course of minerals, you have 2 options. You can either go with the capsules, or you can go with the minerals in the ionic minerals that we have in the sachet that you can infuse your water with and raise the pH, alkalize your system. So that is so true. So back to the subject, cause and effect. Yes?
I wanted to say one other thing about the food diary, that people, I've talked to a number of people who think that because you found this diet as an elimination diet and added foods, they think they have to start and just eat eggs and nothing else. And that's not true, because you did the work. They just have to keep a diary to find out when something reacts.
They can start with lettuce and broccoli.
Right, exactly.
And brown rice.
Right. But so people just don't, they stop reading, and so they don't, you know, think it through.
You can literally start with McDonald's hamburgers without any accoutrements, you know, just to, you know, but we like to stay away from McDonald's. So,
right.
So that's the subject of the day. And if you've been on the call for some time and been in the program, I'm sure you can share. And I welcome you to text Chris or call Chris and let him know that you'd like to share your experience, your backslides, how you caught yourself, how you got back in gear. Because the difference with this program is that whatever you've been doing up until now has been a lot of work. I mean, there isn't anybody. Yeah, Robin, before she found my book, she was doing a lot of work. Everybody does a lot of work. I was doing a lot of work, but was getting nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. The difference here is now it's a lot of work, but there are results. You get someplace, and you end up getting your life back, as Robin has gotten her life. I've gotten my life back, and we've had many people on the call who have gotten their lives back. It works. So if you'd like to share, yes, please text Chris, let him know, and we'll be glad to invite you on the line to share. Yes, Robin.
I wanted to say one thing that you said that was so important about writing down how you're feeling and how you're doing is looking back, because people get discouraged and think they haven't made any progress. And I I have a Morgellons friend. We've been friends for well over a year now, and when we first started talking, she had no furniture in her living room, and we would talk, and she would be standing on a chair with big rubber boots in the middle of an empty room. And now she has a couch and a regular chair in there. She wears regular clothes in her house. I mean, you know, she may not be totally through, but she's made incredible progress. And we forget how far we've come, and that's so important.
It's important to be grateful. It's, you know, we just experienced Thanksgiving. Hopefully everybody has had a Thanksgiving that was pretty good. You know, I know it's hard to go through holidays when you're feeling isolated, particularly with COVID-19 around. Isolation is a thing that it's difficult, but yet be thankful for the fact that we are here today, because there are many people who aren't here today. There are many people who have actually committed suicide rather than deal with these organisms ruining their lives, not seeing any progress. Many people have shared that they've considered suicide, myself included. It was dark. I mean, there was no help from the medical profession. Doctors saying, well, you must have a delusion, or it's filet à trois, or filet à deux. I mean, two people have the same fear of organisms, typical types of diagnoses. And it seems depressing. It is depressing. And as Robin said earlier, one of our goals is to take those emotions of depression. You know, it's interesting because depression, when you're depressed, you're not very active. You're not very up in arms about anything. It's like you're just down. You just want to sleep. You just want to hide in a bubble or whatever. I know, I've been there. And the interesting thing is, I was Googling around yesterday, and I you know, doing some work for another Facebook project about the sympathetic nervous system. And we talk about the sympathetic nervous system here very often. And I was wondering, well, depression, how can that? But strangely enough, depression encourages the activation of cortisol and adrenaline. And that's really weird, because when you're depressed, you don't feel like running away from anything. You feel like hiding from everything. You don't feel like fighting anything. But yet it activates adrenaline and cortisol. And we talk about this often in this program, because when we are also uncertain, and when we're confused, and when we're at loss, and when we're angry, and when we're frustrated, and when we're upset because we're dealing with these organisms, it activates the sympathetic nervous system. And cortisol is created as the hormone, and it releases sugar into the blood, elevates blood sugar. And it's like, well, we're feeding the organisms. We're feeding them, and they become more active, and we can become more depressed. It's like a snowball going down a hill. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until we stop it. We got to stop this. It's important to stop this snowball, and the earlier we can stop the snowball, the better. And then when we activate these organisms, you know, for these little organisms, they have an incredible system set up, because they cause your skin to itch. You get itchy. And what do you do when your skin itches?
Scratch.
You scratch it. Yeah, that's typical. Well, there are two problems there. Number one, you're introducing bacteria from your fingernails. But interestingly enough, the scratching response, as was discussed in a blog post couple of months ago, causes a chemical reaction within the body that actually feeds the organisms. Can you believe that? They figure out a way to feed themselves. by having you scratch yourself. So it's important to, whenever we can, nip stress in the bud. Nip it in the bud. So, Chris, if anybody does call in or would like to share, please let us know. Has anybody texted any questions? Before I go on and before I forget, I want to give you... What's that, Chris? Nobody?
Nobody texted.
Oh, give them your number again. They're asleep. Come on, wake up. Text Chris. He's lonely. He's got this dedicated number. I went out and spent a whole lot of money just so he could have this dedicated number so you can contact him and so you can share and participate in this program without us having a whole bunch of background noise. Please, please help Robin and I out. What's your number again?
732-272-7952.
So I just want to clarify, because I think people might be confused. You have to call, if you're listening, hopefully you're on the call, but you have to call in with the regular 516-259-9769 number, and then you can call or text Chris, but you have to wait on the call until he recognizes and unmutes you. So
yeah,
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, if they text me, I text them back that your line is open.
Right.
Okay, so the FDA requires me to inform everybody on the phone call that I am not a doctor. Robin, my coach, is not a doctor. Ethel, Barbara, Sandra, our other coaches, none of us are medical doctors. And that before you start this diet, the King diet, or accept any of the recommendations, say there's a questionnaire that went out, and if you complete that questionnaire and send it in to me, I will spend quite a bit of time going over the answers and providing you detailed recommendations based on the answers that you provide to get your life back. Detailed recommendations. Alternatively, you could read the book and make detailed notes along the book and basically come up with all these recommendations. They're in the book. They're all there. But I can save you a lot of time, make it quite succinct, and provide you detailed recommendations. And then before you start these recommendations, or before you start any recommendations that are provided to you by Robin, Ethel, Chris, or by the telephone when you call in the office, or Sandra, before you accept any of these recommendations, you are to thoroughly discuss them with your medical doctor to make sure they do not interfere with any health problems you may be experiencing presently. Okay? That's what the FDA requires me to say. The FDA also, and the AMA, American Medical Association, require me to tell you that none of us, Robin, Ethel, me, Chris, myself, none of us are here to treat, to cure, to diagnose, or mitigate any health disease or any skin disease. So what are we here for? We're here to educate. That's what we're allowed to do. We're allowed to educate you on how to clean these organisms out of your environment. Well, these organisms, by the way, the CDC and the Medical Association, and they don't even recognize their existence. You have to actually go into the research that is referenced in the book done by the National Pedulosis Society back around 2002 and 1958, a Swedish study that actually found Columbella. So the doctors, the CDC, the epidemiologists, they don't even recognize these organisms. So our goal is to teach you how to educate you, how to clean them out of your environment. Now, they're in your skin. By the time you find my book and get into the program, you may have 6, 7 layers of skin destroyed that's going to be shed, going to get rid of, cleaned out. All this is going to come off. All this debris is going to come out of your skin. So we educate you on how to clean your skin and how to clean them out of your body. The very first email you get from me when you sign up is that you are a walking, talking, breathing machine. In the very beginning, they were on my skin, and yet I had feelings that they were systemic. And yes, they become systemic. They get into your body. They get into your organs. They affect your brain. They affect every organ of your body. So our goal is to clean them out of your body. So that's what we're here for. So, stress. Shall we get into stress? Shall we talk about that, Robin?
Yeah, but someone had, I'm just texting Chris because they couldn't get through and they want to ask a question. And I also, so Chris, I just texted you a number that would like to talk. And also last Sunday night, Lynn from California texted me a question, and I don't think necessarily so, but she wanted to know, is there a connection between fungal nail infections and parasites? Because her nail beds are a mess.
Well, fungal nail infections are a long-term issue that have been with millions of people over the years that have no connection with parasites. However, when you're dealing with these parasites, they, it's all kind of connected then because they can become a cofactor. It's like Morgellons seems happier when it has a lot of company. Morgellons by itself, from what I've understand, the antidote is simply boron. Taking boron. We have the tablets in our store, or it suggests borax, a few pinches a day of borax. But I'd rather go with the tablets. They're very inexpensive, and alkalizing your body with something like apple cider vinegar. But here's a problem, because if you're also dealing with columbola, or columbola, I don't know how to pronounce it. I should. But if you want to alkalize your body, but the apple cider vinegar will actually feed the columbola. So the alternative is to use our ionic minerals, which I mentioned earlier, have a pH of like 10.5, and they do mineralize your system and also alkalize. So the thing with the nail fungus is baths, finger baths, foot baths, half a cap of Nature's Gift, and maybe a quarter cup of apple cider vinegar in a hand bath or a foot bath, and do that repeatedly as often as you can for up to 45 minutes or longer for up to a month. And I don't think that the fungus is it's going to clean it out. It's going to clean them out. Now, we're not going to cure the fungus. We're just going to clean it out.
Yes. Chris is not receiving texts.
Chris, do you know what's going on?
Because I did. I just texted him 2 numbers who couldn't get through who want to comment. And they texted the number he gave us, and I did also. So I'm not sure what's going on. I'm gonna try and send it to him in the comments. But it's just going to take
Chris, are you on
a
the call?
minute.
Yeah, I'm here, Richard. I didn't receive anything. My phone is on. I tested this afternoon before the call.
Okay, Chris, here's one of the numbers. I sent it to you in a comment. I'm not sure. I mean, so 2 people tried 2 times, and I also sent you 2 texts. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Something's wrong with our mechanics here.
0893.
Well,
this is Lynn from California. The fungal fingernail thing is so much information. I need it so badly. Thank you very much. I'm going to mute myself. Bye.
Thank you.
0893, your line is open.
Hi, it's Jill. Hi, Richard. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jill.
I have a comment. I had so much trouble getting my laundry clear, even putting so much stuff in it. So I just wanted to make this comment. Maybe somebody else is having a lot of trouble with their laundry, because I was reinfested 3 times from clothing that I couldn't get clean. So the only thing that ultimately helped me was adding something called D-mite. And that has cleared my laundry, thank God. So I just wanted to share that point with everybody because chances are somebody else needs to know.
Please email me that information. I'd like to look into it, Jill.
Okay, no problem.
Have you tried the technique that we've discussed before, putting like 2 inches of ammonia in it?
Oh, yes.
Okay, and that didn't clear it out for you?
I wish I had stock in ammonia.
Okay.
True.
Yeah, well, I'd love to take a look at that product. Thank you.
Tons of ammonia. Okay. And clean green in it, both.
Oh, really?
I mean, oh yeah. I mean, I put like 4 or 5 different things. I mean, I tried everything. Nothing helped until I still use all the other stuff, but I added D-mite, and that did the trick.
D-mite, okay. So email me that information. I'd be glad to pass it along because laundry is a challenge. What works for one person may not work for another, and so we'd like to get to the ultimate level here. I thought we were there, but
Yep.
maybe. Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Yeah, I've used D-mite in laundry, but I think the either Clean Green or your Clean 'em Up Zymes or your laundry enzyme are the best. I really like them a lot.
I just have to use D-mite on top of all of it.
In addition.
Yeah,
Right.
and I use Clorox Blue Pool Shock, which is a lot cheaper than D-mite. But yeah, I know you always have to add something.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
So I just want to say, if anyone tries to text or call Chris and can't get through, text my number and let me know, and I will get your number to Chris somehow. Okay.
The 5706 is open now.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Oh, that would be me. Oh, hello. Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
Oh, hey, let me take the speaker. Yeah, I had a few questions, but just from listening to what you guys were talking about, like sharing some things that work. For the past year, if I had any like open like wounds or cuts that would not heal, I was using it's called Scar Away. It's for scars, but in days, the cut or the wound would heal within days. Now, mind you, for months and months, I couldn't get anything to heal. It's just like a Band-Aid, but it breathes with the skin, and I don't think it allows them to like crawl over your cut to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. I just wanted to share that. And then my questions kind of had to do with certain, like the foods that I was eating and like the cause and the reaction. It has made a huge difference just by me and Robin talking with like little things that I don't know much. I have a learning disability, so I can't read that well. So I've been trying to listen to it. But with the foods that I know that I'm allowed to have, I've never seen my skin like this in a long, long time. But I know, yeah, I messed up and I had some apple pie and I regret it. Just like every ounce of my soul, I regret it. It was not worth it, and I did not need it, the apple pie. The diet's actually been, for some reason, I just feel, when I'm eating it, I feel better with everything. So I want to say thank you. I have more questions, but I forget, and I want you guys to keep going.
Well, you can always text me again, and I'll tell Chris to unmute you if you remember your question.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I do have a question from.
Well, before we go on, the lesion thing,
Yeah.
Oftentimes, if you take either the mouthwash / body wipe and wet the pad of a Band-Aid with it and apply that to the lesion, that will pretty well get rid of that lesion pretty quickly. It'll clean it out fast.
Oh, good. See, I didn't get the stuff yet. I know, Chris, I think I had a problem with so I didn't receive any of that stuff yet, but I'm excited to get it.
Okay, great. Well, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a thank you from Anna from Texas. I had created this kind of layered oil stuff that I would put on my body 3 times a day with essential oils and Nature's Gift debriding soap and diatomaceous earth and a whole bunch of stuff. And I've been telling people about it. And Anne said she just wanted to thank you. She was able to sleep all night long for the first time in a long time, and it was awesome.
Oh.
So that's really wonderful. And yeah, things to be grateful for. Nothing like a good night's sleep. I have a question from Chris K. How long can you use Abilify to reduce the dopamine? I've been on it 3 months, but then got reaffected and need to start over. Can they stay on it longer?
Well, I think that's a question for your doctor. We can't. We're not here to give medical advice. I don't have any personal experience I can speak from. I do know that our goal is now within 2 weeks to have an herbal supplement that will hopefully reduce dopamine so that we no longer need to depend on these medications to do so, unless there's a reason for the medication other than for skin parasites. So that's our goal, is within 2 weeks to have something available for trial, for trying out. And it could take maybe several months of trying it out to see how it works. But as far as Abilify, that's a question I would say to discuss with your doctor.
And I can answer. I wasn't on Abilify, but I was on 2 other dopamine inhibiting drugs, and my doctor recommended 5 months and then to start winding down very slowly. And I have talked to many people who told me their doctors said the same thing, 4 to 5 months. But everyone is different. I know one person who had their doctor said 8 months. So you really do need to talk to your doctor. Just saying. And if I personally believe if you got reinfected and you're still on it, then it's your environment. And if you hit the part of your environment where you got reinfected hard, it'll clear up fast. Or like Richard did, he hit it affected a part of his body when he was in the crawl space, and he dealt with it in 2 days. It was done. So it's really staying on top of things.
Yes. Anyone else have a question texted in or would like to speak?
Richard, my phone is out of service, so for whatever reason, I don't know, I called them. They're saying that my service is out, so I have to call them tomorrow and find out what's going on.
Okay.
So the rest of the people, if you have any questions, please text Robin, and Robin will text to me, and I will open the line.
Okay.
Most contagious.
Hello?
Well,
can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
Oh, hey. I didn't know if I was still open. I actually was just about to text you, Robin.
That's okay.
About when you're most contagious, I know you text me if you're really itchy or open lesions. I wanted to see if we can maybe dig a little deeper into that. because I wasn't ever really itchy until I started cleaning and using the ammonia, and like then I got like, I mean, I've never felt that type of itch before, but I also didn't know what I had, so I didn't know if it was in my head. But that stopped maybe like a day after that. So is there any information that you guys could share with me about like a little bit more about being contagious, or, you know, how to feel about?
Well, as long as your body is growing filaments or shedding them, you're definitely contagious.
Yeah.
If you're itching and you're feeling biting sensations, that's an indication they're active. If you're feeling a slight crawling sensation, that may not be as active as if you were actually itching and feeling biting sensations.
Yeah.
Generally, what I always did before I had a social engagement or went out would just be make sure I took my 45-minute bath and took along, then showered off, and then I would take along the equivalent of a body wipe or something or one of the creams to apply if I felt any discomfort.
Yeah. Well, that was good. Now, and also, you guys, with any like relationship-wise, like if the person that I actually am with, and I've let them know, they're actually really supportive. So I'm really grateful for that. But I'm either have probably already gave that to him, or do you think that it's possible that he may not have actually gotten it?
Well, not everybody is affected by it. We don't know whether one person out of 10 or one person out of 200. All we know, and all I know from communicating with a lot of people, is that there are some families where there's only one person, and everybody else thinks that person is crazy. And other families, everybody's affected by it. So we don't know what the answer is. That research hasn't even been done yet.
Yeah, no, I understand. That's exactly seem very familiar with that.
But someone can be a carrier without being affected, and so they still have to deal with cleaning their environment and washing their clothes and bedding, just like you do.
People are.
At least that's recommended.
Yeah, people are affected to different degrees. I was dramatically affected. My wife was a carrier. She had no symptoms. But to deal with that, I would simply be in charge of the laundry, and I would disinfect her laundry and my laundry. And when I recognized that she was a carrier, I had her take a bath with a nature's gift, and actually it was and make sure the bedding was all disinfected, and that was the end of her being a carrier. So that was my personal experience. I don't know. That's how easy it can be. I'm not saying it will be that easy for everybody.
No, I understand.
But it's better that your partner knows about the condition so that you can be upfront with them, provide them the creams or lotions or whatever works so that they can be ahead of it as well.
Yeah, that's what I would like to do, because every dermatologist and doctor and hospital, they all told me I wasn't contagious, but you feel contagious, like you know it, but they're telling you you're not. So of course I continued my life until I found, you guys, and I was able to share with the people, my family and friends, what I've learned, and I'm very grateful for you guys.
Well, Thank you, and this is a very important point here, because the Morgellons Foundation, headed by medical doctors and researchers, they all claim that, and Dr. Saverly in her book, Morgellons, The Legitimization of a Disease, she emphatically states in there that Morgellons is not contagious. You can only catch it from maybe dogs or pets, that it's not contagious. So personally, my experience is it is contagious. She cites that if it were contagious, she's been working with these people all these years and she's never gotten it. That's her evidence that it's not contagious. Well,
Wow.
I, on the other hand, get emails from hundreds and hundreds of people over the years, and I get emails from people who have caught it from a friend or relative, or from a romantic relationship, or they have given it to their grandchild. Can you imagine how frustrating that is? And try to explain it to your children that your child is infected, and that's a real political situation, real family political situation. So what am I supposed to do? Call all of these people liars that they're not contagious? They didn't catch it from anybody?
Well, I was reading some of the stuff, and the medicine I was on, I think it was gabapentin, and if I remember correctly, it said that it was bad for me to take that. I don't know if that's true or not, but
you're talking about Doxepin?
Gabapentin, or did I read it wrong?
Oh,
I'm bad
yes.
with reading.
I don't know if that's one of the medications, but there are about maybe a half a dozen medications that actually cause the diet to be more difficult to kick in. Generally, medications that are used for ADHD and narcolepsy.
Which me.
They are medications. Now, in the blog, there is, you'd have to go back and you can search, do a keyword search for medicine or medication, and there are medications that can be used that does not affect the diet.
Gotcha. Yeah. But like you said, for them to...
It's in the book, too. Okay. It's also in the book, I believe. So you could talk to your doctor about switching. You could talk to your doctor about switching to a different med, to that particular med.
Yes, because I'm ADHD too, but I did stop almost all of the medicine just because I don't know, and you know what, I'd rather fix this first, and like you said, talk to my doctor about getting me on a different form of medicine.
So go back in the blog post, or you know how to get to our blog?
No, but I was going to ask maybe Robin if she could help me. Because of my learning disability, it's really, I'm not really that educated on certain things. This is my first time I'm even using like an email at all. So,
okay.
Congratulations. Yes, you can call me anytime.
Okay, for anyone on the call who may not be familiar with our blog, where our blog is, it's best, B-E-S-T, morgellonscure.com. bestmorgellonscure.com. There's a link at the top to the blog. Now, the book, the 10th edition of the book is something different than before, because the blog has so much information in it. If I were to include everything in the blog in the book, it would be like 400 pages long. So many subjects that are discussed in the book are linked, and that's where the PDF is important, the ebook. If you have the ebook, as you're reading it, all you do is click on the link and it will take you to the blog post that further explains the issue. If you're doing the soft cover copy of the book and you come upon the link, they're pretty easy. It's just bestmorgellonscure.com/blog-one word HTML, and you'll go to the blog post.
I have a number of questions, Richard.
Wonderful.
Yeah. All right. First, Nancy from North Carolina has 3 questions, and the first one is, how do you use an electrostatic sprayer and what do you put in it? So I'd love to answer that one.
Go ahead.
If I may. Okay, so the electrostatic sprayer is really cool because it sticks to things. There's a little metal strip on the handle, and when you hold it, it turns it into it gives it an electric static, and makes it electrostatic. So
may I say, some of them only have a switch. You don't do that. Some of them just have a switch on or off.
Okay, the kind that I have that used to be unavailable, it's with a metal strip. So I don't know about other kinds, but whatever it takes to make it electrostatic, it will cling to things and it'll get in places automatically if you just point it in a direction. Now you don't have, and because of that, you don't have to like soak things. You want to go very quickly. And for me, what I did was I started at the ceiling, and I would do these sweeping sprays, ceiling, walls, furniture, floor, and it would be like a race. I have a 1,700 square foot house, and I would do the entire house in between 15 and 20 minutes. So you go fast, and it doesn't take a lot of stuff. And then you can save whatever's in the container for next time. Now, you can use a lot of different things. I have used disinfectant. I have used Clean Green or Richard's Clean 'em Up Zymes. I've used a combination of enzymes and Garden Safe Fungicide 3, which is an organic pesticide. But if you're going to use an oil like neem oil, the thing is that it will clog the sprayer unless, and you have to do this after every use, whether you use an oil or not, is you rinse out the tank part, and then you take super hot water in an 8 to 12 ounce glass, and you put the sprayer hose in there and run it in your sink, and that cleans the sprayer so it will never get clogged. And I've talked to a number of people who like, I hate this sprayer, it just clogs all the time, and I told them what I did, and it instantly fixed it for them. And I have had the sprayer a while. I actually burnt out the motor. I used it so much, but I never got clogged. And they replaced the whole sprayer, so they're a pretty good company. Victory. I think that's where you get yours from, Richard.
Yes.
I did not use anything toxic in the sprayer because I do use pesticides because of the mites, but I wanted to keep the sprayer for just mostly non-toxic. I have used Richard's, microbial cleaner in the electrostatic sprayer, which you can only use if things are clean when you start, and it'll only affect things that are the size of microbes. So we don't have a lot of information about what it works on and what it doesn't yet. I have also used Zep Quick Clean commercial disinfectant in the sprayer. Mostly I've used enzyme cleaners and the Garden Safe Fungicide 3. I hope that answers that question. And then her next question was, how do you get them out of your nose? And wait, I gotta find the text. And suggestions for healing open lesions, which you did talk about, but she might have come on the call late. So nose and lesions. I would recommend for nose is to get it like a Q-tip and use, I have used straight Nature's Gifted Brightening Soap. I've used colloidal silver. I've used a combination. I've also used like an antibiotic cream, mixed them all together. It worked great, but whatever you do, you have to do it many times a day and be aggressive because nothing works when you do it one time. And I forget what you said about open lesions today, Richard.
For the lesions, take a Band-Aid and wet the absorbent part with the mouthwash body wipe, and then apply that right onto the lesion, so it'll keep the lesion wet with the Nature's Gift and clean it out. And okay. The antimicrobial Surface Guard 90, what Robin had talked about, is something that you need only apply very infrequently, and it kills viruses, bacteria, fungus. And we also have 2 disinfectants in the store. One is Benefect. It's thyme-based, organic, and you can spray that on countertops, dishes, anything really. I mean, you put thyme in your food. So it's like that. And the other one is called Mediclean, which is chemical-based. It's very similar to the ZEP product that Robin was talking about. It's far less expensive because it's chemical, and you can dilute it like 1 to 15, whereas the thyme-based product is ready to use.
Also, someone texted me about the nose, and they said they use Vicks, which is also, you know, it's thick, and they hate anything that's mentholy, so that helps. I have a question from, I don't know who, can you eat nuts on stage 3 of the King diet, and if yes, what nuts can you eat? I texted them that I know you can eat walnuts on stage 2.
Macadamias, Brazil nuts, stage 2, and then stage 3 you can go to almonds and pine nuts, but not every day. You know, like maybe once a week you can have some.
Okay, and I have another question. I'm not sure what, when you eat, can you save your food, like save leftovers? Yes, of course you can. I mean, surely. I do.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure you cover it like you would cover any food. And here's another question from Candy. How do you know if you have Morgellons or mites? I tested positive for mycotoxins, Great Plains Labs. I guess, and the mycotoxins are related to mold. If you fill out Richard's questionnaire, he can give you his thoughts on it, and also I can, with mites, there's a lab called VetDNA, VetDNA.com, and they have a section on their website called What's Biting Me. You can send them up to 3 samples. They show you, call them up, and they'll tell you how to send the samples, and they will identify things for you. If it's a mite. For Morgellons, Richard, I wanted to tell them about the lint roller test, if that's okay with you.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so here's an easy way to tell if you have Morgellons, because the main thing about Morgellons is the fibers that come out of your skin that you see everywhere. I mean, they were like all over my house, but if you can't see them, because some of them are large and some of them are teeny tiny, so you take a shower and you use either Richard's Nature's Gift debriding soap or another kind of debriding soap, whatever. You let it air dry on your skin, and then you take a lint roller and roll it on your skin. Look at it under a really strong magnifying glass, and if you see little fibers, that's Morgellons. And that's a pretty accurate way to tell. A friend had told me about that. Mold is a separate issue, and I know springtails like moisture, and moisture likes mold. Mold likes moisture, so sometimes it can be a co-infection. But I don't think it's a cause and effect thing. That's my opinion.
Well, there are many cofactors, and mold or fungal organisms are simply an opportunistic mechanism that can be there in the beginning and aggravated or exacerbated with Morgellons, or vice versa. Essentially, if they're on the skin, it's debriding soap in the bath along with apple cider vinegar, or oregano oil. This morning's update went out about oregano oil, all the benefits of it, and you can add oregano oil to your bath as well. The key is to add the oil to the concentrated nature's gift before you put it in the bathtub. Otherwise, oils have a tendency to float on top, particularly if it's peppermint. You get that cold feeling on your skin. Whereas if you mix it, you'll have less of that issue. With mites, there are 40,000 different species of mites. Unless there's a particular reason to need to identify them, say for instance, you live in an apartment complex and your area is infested and you're trying to get your landlord to get an exterminator to treat it, well then you might want to send in samples. But you would never tell. This is vet, V-E-T, veterinarian DNA. It is not H-U-M-A-N DNA.
Right.
So you do not want to infer, like Robin has Tiger. That's she's rubbing and playing with Tiger right now. So when you watch the video, you'll see her hanging out with her cat here. He's been very he's been very demanding in this call. He's been all over you. So,
I know, well, it's dinner time, and I didn't get to feed him. He's trying to be patient.
So when you send in the sample to vet DNA, you do not want to provide information that it comes from human. You want it to, so that would give you an identification that you can give to your landlord to justify him employing exterminators to exterminate them from your the property or wherever they are. Most people find them in terms of black dots. They could be red dots, I guess. There are some updates that about maybe a year ago or so in the blog about them. But usually when the mites die and they fall off your skin or they are dead in the environment, you see little black dots in your bedding, your floor, or wherever they are. I think you have a lot of experience with that, Robin. You have a pretty infested area of mites.
Yes. Yeah, I know. It's getting better. And it's true, they're hard to see until they die. And some mites are microscopic, and you will never see them. And that makes it really hard, and they can only be identified through DNA.
If you
like
can catch
skin
them.
scraping. If you get the right skin. Like when I first got these, I went to one of the dermatologists I went to, luckily, did a skin scraping, and she said, yes, you definitely have mites, but I can't identify what it is. And she also didn't know how to treat it, but at least it was confirmation for me. Of course, I have never been able to find a exterminator in Western Mass that will deal with it, so I'm pretty much on my own. I just had an ear pod fall out, and my cat thinks it's a toy, so I'll be right back.
Okay. Anyone else with? So one of the things that we always talk about in this call is managing stress. As I mentioned before, depression. I mean, I can't fathom anybody being on this call or in my program that hasn't been depressed to one degree or another. Me, I was dramatically depressed. It got to the point where I would have to, I had a photograph of my young second cousin, a beautiful young girl, and sometimes I would just stare at that child, that baby, and it would give me a sense of at least connection or whatever to keep living. So depression can be it can have a dramatic impact. And then we have the anger that goes along with being told or ushered out of the doctor's office that there's nothing wrong with you, that you're a nutcase or you're delusional. I mean, many stories of people being ushered out of the emergency room and not allowed back into the emergency room. So, and then there's the uncertainty after you get this treatment from the medical profession, and then the family believing the doctor that something's wrong with you. You must be a meth head or a druggie, somewhat an outcast. So there's that isolationism, the uncertainty, and these emotions activate the sympathetic nervous system. Now, the sympathetic nervous system, most of us know about it as, you know, okay, if you're walking down the street and a pit bull comes after you, you know, that's a sign of you need to take an escape. So your heart rate's got to jump up, your blood pressure's got to go up, your muscles are going to tense up, your stomach's going to stop digesting, your hands become sweaty. Your feet become sweaty, the hands become cool and cold, or toes become cold, and you're in a fight or flight. And you're either going to run away from that pit bull, or if you don't, you're going to have to turn and fight that pit bull. Same for carjacking. Or if you're driving down the street and there's a car that suddenly pulls out in front of you, it's instantaneous. The fight or flight is there to protect us. But the thing about it is that the intelligence doesn't recognize a real physical threat being any different than a threat that to your ego or to your psychological homeostatic level. It prepares you to fight or run by doing all this stuff to you. But there's nothing to fight. You can't fight these little organisms. The best you can do is hopefully kill them with ammonia or one of the disinfectants and wash them out of your body. But you can't fight them. They're in you. They're on you. You can't run away from them. People, you can move to Hawaii, beautiful, beautiful place, and they're with you. You've taken them on the airplane. You've given them to other people while you were traveling on the airplane. So yet your body's got you ready to fight or run. And this can be on a perpetual, I mean, it's not like it comes and goes. It can be your homeostatic level. That's your baseline. Your baseline, and that gradually goes higher and higher and higher and eventually you end up with adrenal fatigue or cortisol problems. But every time this happens, yes, cortisol is a hormone that is produced during the stress response to varying degrees, and it releases sugar into your blood, and that feeds the parasites. So it's important to recognize this and to counter it, to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, to do something to calm things down. Because you're not going to fight, you're not going to use up that blood sugar by either fighting or running. It's there. But you want to turn off the mechanism that keeps dumping this sugar into your blood. You want to turn that off. And that's called the parasympathetic nervous system. And it's done by releasing catecholamines, a whole different group of hormones into your system that turn off the sympathetic nervous system. And there are different ways of doing this. Now, with each of these updates that go out, I think that one of the top paragraphs is a free program that's on YouTube. I hope you take advantage of listening to it. 20 minutes, sit down, turn off the phone, be relaxed, and just listen to it. And relax. That'll activate a lot of catecholamines, help you sleep too. We also have programs in the store about overcome depression. It's an incredible program, a phenomenal program. Sleeplessness is often an issue. There's a program in the store too about improving sleep. So if any of these, they're inexpensive, $6.95. They're $25 on my stress management site, but they're $6.95 here. So take advantage of them. Or the free one that I just told you about. Or take advantage of something you can do for free every day, many, many times during the day. And that is one of the techniques that are either slow, deep breathing that you can do throughout the day, or there's a technique that Claudia from Claudia's Dream Cream introduced to us maybe 8 or 9 months ago. is called tapping. And that is a great one, too. Now, the deep breathing exercise is great for most people, but if you are anxiety-prone or prone to have or deal with agoraphobia, it can actually make you more nervous. So this time we're going to take a break from that technique, and we're going to have Robin go through the tapping exercise. She's going to explain to you over this call how to do it. The call is being recorded, so if you have any questions about it or would like to make sure you're doing it right, go back and look at this video. The video will be available later on tonight. I'll send out an email where you can, with a link to go through and listen to the video and the things that we've discussed. The second time around, you may hear things that you didn't hear the first time. So it's important. And it's even true for reading the book. The first time you read a book, you get out of it what you want to get out of it. The second time in my book, the first time you read the book, you get overwhelmed. It's like being hit upside the face, with 20 years of experience and research flying at you in 200 pages of book. It's incredible. Sometimes I think that rather than have these calls, we just should read the book. Read 3 pages of the book each call, because it's incredible. So we're going to do the tapping exercise, and Robin's going to take you through that. And as I said, the link will be available later on tonight. You can watch the video to make sure you're doing the tapping right. Okay, Robin, back to you.
Okay. So the first thing I want you guys to do is think of something that's stressing you out, that's causing anxiety. Just pick one thing and rate it. Give it a rating between 1 and 10, where 1 is stressing you out very little and 10 is a lot, okay? Because we're going to try and lower that number. And this exercise you can do over and over, and each time that number should get a little lower for that particular thing. Now, I'm just going to walk through what we're going to do, and then we're going to do it. We're going to tap like a karate tap, which you can do on your hand. You can do it on the edge of a table, gently. And then we're going to tap with 2 fingers on both hands. We're going to tap the top of our head, our forehead, above our eyebrows, the sides of our eyes, under our nose, our chin, under our neck, and then we're going to rub right there. And we're going to tap 7 to 10 times in each place. And I'm going to make a statement, and I want you to repeat that either out loud or in your mind. It doesn't matter because you're all muted. So feel free. Okay. So I want everyone to get something in their head that is stressing them out, all right? Now, we're going to do the karate chop first, and I want you to repeat after me one way or another. This situation is really hard, but I'm going to love myself in spite of it. And then we're going to tap our head and say, the situation really stinks and I hate it, but I'm going to love myself in the midst of it. And then above our eyes, no matter what happens, I am going to love and respect myself in this situation. The side of our eyes. It may look impossible, but I am going to love and respect myself in the middle of it. Under my eyes. I don't know when it will get better, but I am not going to stop loving myself in it. Under my nose. This is so hard. My chin. But I am going to love and respect myself no matter what happens. Under my neck, my collarbone. And then rub just for a minute. It should be a little tight and you're loosening it up. And then take a cleansing breath. And if you have water nearby, a drink of water to help remove toxins. And now look at that thing that was, like my thing was number 10, and now it is number 8. So that was, or maybe 7. I mean, I feel a lot better even though. So, you know, if you'd like to share, if that helped reduce your stress level about a certain item, please let us know. Text me and we'll get you unmuted. Or you can keep doing that over and over until your stress level becomes much more manageable for that thing, and then you can do it for the next thing. It's a great technique. We're so grateful that Claudia showed it to us. That's not the royal we, by the way. So.
The idea is to have as many of these little quick stress management things that you can possibly do. Another one is when you catch yourself caught up in stress is to simply take in a long, slow, deep breath, and do that now. Exhale and smile and say, leave my body out of it. Leave my body out of it. Smiling is important. Somehow the sympathetic nervous system can't do its thing when you're smiling. The catecholamine flooded over. And remember, you know, Robin's language, love and respect myself, love and respect myself, love and respect myself. Sometimes when you're affected by these organisms, you think that maybe you're paying a price, or maybe you're getting even, or God's punishing you or something. And it's hard to sometimes love and respect yourself. But you're not paying a price. The only price you're paying is, you know, let me go out on a limb real quick. We're paying a price for Monsanto, chemtrails, and 5G. That's the price we're paying. That's the perfect storm that has brought these organisms out to the extent they are today and affecting us. So it has nothing to do with God or you paying a price or somebody getting even with you or putting a hex on you. It's just happenstance. And you happen to have the chemistry that these organisms like. So do this daily. Do that. Take deep breath and smile as you exhale. Leave my body out of it. That means leave my muscles out of it. My muscle tension, my heart rate going up, my blood pressure being up is it's going to do nothing for dealing with these organisms. I want to be relaxed. Have a relaxed environment around you. If you're watching me on TV, on the video, you'll see behind me live plants.
I know, they're beautiful.
This is my RNA. This is where I sit, right next here. RNA. And the more RNA you can get, then that's what you get when you're in the outdoors, when you're around plants. They feed you RNA. That helps you. That benefits your health. So do those things. And it all falls together with a diet, disinfecting and cleaning your skin, and the targeted supplements. Now, I don't want people to think that, you know, somebody texted me, a lady that are working that is in the program, and she does a lot of work. She's in Facebook, and there are different Facebook groups, and she was recommending people go to the store or whatever, and they threw her out because they don't want anybody. And they're saying, oh, this guy makes a lot of money off of these products, off of these poor suffering people. I mean, it's amazing how people jump to conclusions. You know, my ebook is free. The diet has been called a cure by many people. It's not, but it's that good. It's free. I don't say, hey, I'm going to give you stage 1 of the diet, but if you want stage 2, you got to pay $79.95. You know, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, it's all there. It tells you the difference between Columbella and Morgellons and the idiosyncrasies of the diet. There's nothing held back. All of that's free. We have coaching free. We have this program free. We're here. You know, you don't need. We have a. I'm really happy that the store. We have an incredible store. It started with one product, Nature's Gift Debriding Soap, in 2013. We're over 150 products. People love our products. They keep buying them, knock on wood. But you don't need any of our products. You know, you got the book free. You got the diet free. You don't have to buy. Hey, I didn't have any of these products in 1995 and 1996 when I was getting my life back. I got my life back with scalding baths 3 times a day, scalding bath and the diet and using ammonia. So you don't need anything in my store to get your life back. They simply have been lauded as incredible products. So you have the Flow Boat to China, which is the scalding baths and ammonia and the diet, or take a faster boat to China, take a plane and integrate our products, or find vitamins if you can that are compatible with the diet. Like I said, the vitamin we have, after researching dozens and dozens of vitamins, is the only one that's compatible with the diet. But find what works for you and employ what is in the book and get your life back. Okay, anyone write in? Anybody text want to share or ask a question?
No, but you know, I just realized this is like Thanksgiving weekend, right? I wondered how people did with the diet over Thanksgiving, and if anyone used the recipes we sent out.
Oh, you missed the first. You missed Ethel's. We were discussing that during. If you came in after 4 o'clock, you really missed a big part of the show.
I'm sorry.
Ethel does incredible. It's like a show of its own from 3:45 to 4. We talk about all kinds of things. People are talking about how they enjoyed the Thanksgiving, how they adjusted their cooking. And you had no one shared about your recipes, but I'm sure that hopefully a lot of people use them.
Well, actually, one person did call me and told me they loved the gravy recipe.
So, yeah. I mean, we're here for you. I know what it's like to suffer. I've been there. I've wakened up at 3 a.m. and couldn't go back to sleep, feeling like my body was being eaten alive. I know what it feels like. It's like I remember it. I forgot what it felt like, but I remember it. So that's where you want to get to. You want to get to the point where, yeah, it was terrible, but I no longer am and suffer with that anymore.
That's great. Someone has texted me. They said they want you to know that they know that you are here to help. And anyone who says you're not has no idea what they're talking about.
What?
Anyone who thinks we're not here to help doesn't have a clue what they're talking about.
That's true.
Basically.
That's true. One of our goals, and I don't know if, we're looking for somebody who could operate and run our angel program, because there are a lot of misfortunate people who have lost their jobs, lost their careers, lost their family, in total isolation. And in fact, Ethel, our greeting coach, because of the isolation, she picked up the habit of doodling, and we have a doodling contest. And if you find a way of dealing with isolation like that, let us know, because that's one of the challenges. But for those who are far more or less fortunate, we're looking for a philanthropist who can help us out to get supplies to these people. So many people need more than supplies. They need a place to even live. They're living out of automobiles, and they can barely afford their phone service. So, yeah, we need to have some help to support these unfortunates. Okay, it could be any one of us. There are so many people I've talked to who had Fortune 500 jobs and careers that are now basically homeless.
Right.
It's that bad. We've had architects. Yes.
Someone, maybe you could talk about this. We talked about this last week or the week before. I have black floaters in my right eye that came 2 weeks ago and stays and moves when I move my eyeballs. Can you talk about floaters? Are really common.
I experienced them, and they were the size of Mack trucks, so I didn't have to look for them. They were there. I had trouble sometimes differentiating whether I was looking at a floater or I was looking at an object. They do go away. That's all I know. At the time, I didn't. At the time, I was, God, I'm never going to see again. My vision's going to be like this forever, blurry. But they do go away. At least they did for me.
Right, and they did for me also. They did for me also as you get better. And what helped my eyes get better was colloidal silver every 15 minutes for days. But there are lots of protocols in Richard's book for eyes.
Yeah, there are about 7 different things that you can do for your eyes. Some people use the very dilute Nature's Gift from the 50% concentrate, and with saline water and an eye cup. There we have the 12 parts per million, or is it 10 parts per million colloidal silver that you can use directly into your eyes. So, and there are some prescription medications listed in the book. There are some herbal remedies listed in the book.
Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
What are the finger fungal? Are they related to Morgellons?
No, not really. I mean, there are people who believe that Morgellons is fungal and promote it that way. I think that Morgellons the fungal is simply opportunistic, and people can have fungal issues without Morgellons. But of course, there are people who think that everybody's got Morgellons. Everybody in the universe has got it, and some of us more. So, I don't want to split hairs, but basically, fungal organisms are fungal organisms, and we clean them out too. We clean them. The foot bath or
So fungal. I just did the apple cider vinegar and Nature's Gift soap on my fingers. Hurt like heck, but so.
Well, that's an important point because skin fungus is red and burns as well. And if you put apple cider vinegar on, it's a good way of finding out and diagnosing yourself. Because if you got apple cider vinegar with fungus, it's going to burn.
Yeah, definitely did.
So you're on the right track. You want to keep doing it.
So keep doing it. You said 45 minutes.
Yes.
I have to torture myself for 45. I couldn't stand it, and I'm pretty tough. I have to.
So you're going to work up to it. Start 10 minutes.
All right, and keep doing it, and do it every day, as many times a day as you can.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
I have another question.
Wonderful.
All right, I'll
sorry
let you go.
to interrupt.
Thank you.
I'm going to hang up. I'm getting it.
This person wants to know where Morgellons comes from and what causes it. So I personally have watched the microbiologists who have discovered that inside the fibers that are related to Morgellons, they found Bartonella spirochetes, which are a variation of a parasitic Lyme bacteria. And vectors, or things that can bring Morgellons to you, are fleas, ticks, bed bugs, other people, dogs, cats, walking in the grass, sitting on a chair, shaking hands with someone. So I don't know what you'd like to add to that, Richard. But
well, Morgellons itself, Mary Lato, who's the first person, lived in, actually she lived at the end of a cul-de-sac that Sandra, our other coach, lives. And around 2002, did research and found back in the 1600s there was something described. I think the name was Bowne, B-O-W-N-E, Dr. Bowne. So from that basic description has been around since the 1600s. Why is it so prevalent today? Why is it becoming more prevalent today? And I guess people look into a couple of things, and one is chemtrails. There are experiments, alleged experiments with AI, artificial intelligence, by seeding the sky with these minerals, and the minerals we breathe in that end up creating crystalline bots in our bodies that for the most part don't affect a lot of people, but apparently do somehow get misconstrued or screwed up, and creating the filaments and fibers and the crystalline things that many people report coming out of their bodies with Morgellons. That's one approach, one theory. I don't find really anything wrong with it. It makes some sense to me, but I don't want to go out on a limb and say that's exactly it. What we do want to do is we want to look at Monsanto. We want to look at why are we being so dramatically affected. Okay, so some scientists out there are doing research on us with nanobots and things into these crystalline things into our body that are supposedly not innocuous, and suddenly they're not being innocuous. Why? And then we look at Monsanto with their glyphosate, and which is patented as an antibiotic, patented as an anti-scaling mechanism for boilers, which means now that we get glyphosate through our food supplies, through our water, through our air. Depending on what part of the country you live in, you get more exposure than others. In the Mississippi Basin area, you get a lot of exposure because all the farm area tributaries drain down in the Mississippi Valley and the Mississippi area, so it's much higher concentrate of glyphosate in that area. And the glyphosate ends up destroying our biosystem, our biomes in the gut, and give rise to Socrates, who says all disease begins in the gut. It's like years ago, they stopped using antibiotics in chickens because we eat the chickens and the antibiotics don't do us any good. The antibiotics are of no good unless they have a specific purpose. So continual use of antibiotics screws up the gut biome, contributes to the creation, things like Candida, the leaky gut syndrome. And now when this kind of stuff happens, the enormity and the price tag paid to the human body is enormous. If you look at Dr. Zach Bush, there's a series of videos, GMOs Revealed, and if you go back in the blog, all of the links to those videos are posted. He states that the glyphosate is a contributing factor to autism, which is skyrocketing exponentially, contributing factor to diabetes, which is skyrocketing exponentially, heart disease, Lyme disease. Now, he's not familiar with Morgellons, but Morgellons, a.k.a. Lyme disease, is right in there. Because what happens is that the blood-brain barrier, the digestive system barriers are being weakened, and we're getting toxins into the bloodstream. And we're getting toxins into the brain. We're getting toxins everywhere and affecting us health-wise. Now, let's add 5G. Let's add 3G. 3G is the routers that you might have in your house. That's 3G. The 5G are the new phones that are coming out. And these frequencies that are produced by 5G are at the level they affect the human physiology. And for instance, there are pathways between the blood and into the cell. For calcium, for instance, the 5G stimulates that pathway and opens it up, dumping a lot of calcium into the cell. And if you put a lot of calcium into the cell where it doesn't belong, it affects the endocrine system, your immune system. Everything is thrown haywire. So we have the perfect storm for Morgellons and these organisms going haywire in our bodies. Probably more than you wanted to hear.
A couple more questions. How do you deal with parasites in your intestines? And then I have like 3 more questions from someone
Parasites
else.
in the intestines. Okay, we're talking about pinworms, roundworms, flatworms, tapeworms, and those kind of organisms. Again, these are co-infections, and statistically, it's basically known that if you have a heartbeat, you've got internal parasites. They generally aren't a big factor, except when you have the perfect storm and add in Morgellons and fungal issues and so forth, then they become a factor. Now, typically, when you're dealing with these organisms, you're looking at detoxing. So you can go on the internet and you can type in detox, and you can come up with all kinds of products to detox your body. Liquid this, liquid that, and they generally contain wormwood and black walnut. And both of them, unfortunately, do feed columbella, which means you might solve one problem and exacerbate another. Our approach is basically clean them out of your body with diatomaceous earth. It's inexpensive. You put it in you can put it in water. You can put it in tea, stir it up, drink it. Then our mouthwash. I guess about maybe a year and a half ago, we found out that our mouthwash is a lot more than just mouthwash, because there were some people consuming it, and it's like consuming liquid. It's like consuming liquid charcoal, is what it is. Instead of the crystallized charcoal, it's liquid. So, and it has a similar effect. It cleans the system. So that would be number 2, consuming the mouthwash. First, use it to clean use your mouth. Clean it. Clean your mouth with it. Force it around your teeth, around your gums, and then after say a minute, consume it. When you first start using it, I guarantee you're going to have loose bowels because it will start cleaning you out. And over the course of a couple of weeks, things are going to be different. Now, the next step is fenbendazole, also known as Fenben. We recommend that you look into that. So you put those 3 things together, and you basically have taken care of pinworms, roundworms, flatworms, threadworms, and any kind of worm.
I have a couple more questions. Hold on, I have to get back to the questions. So this is from Candy. She moved to Idaho high desert, and it's gotten worse in the house she's in. She has leaky gut syndrome, broken blood-brain barrier, candida, mast cell activation disorder. She wants to know if she should get a Lyme test, but I mean, we are not doctors. What I think is Lufeneron will help with candida, and I texted her about that. But Lufeneron helps with candida and Morgellons, and it's shop with the number 4 and LUFE, shop4luf.com. And they have both protocols there for candida or Morgellons. It's slightly different. And I think that the diet and maybe Max 1 and Garcillin are the best things for Lyme and any of that stuff. And mast cells, I had a similar mast cell disorder, and it took about 6 years to calm down.
What is it? I didn't understand
mast cell disorder, it's almost like an intense allergic reaction where your body responds by attacking itself, basically. And some people who get COVID, it turns into a mast cell disorder, and that's why they have it for months and months and months. You know, anything you can do that's anti-inflammatory, like lemons are on the diet, and they are super anti-inflammatory. So you could drink lemon juice all day long, and you can, Cistus tea really helps with that stuff. And that's in the store, or you can find it other places as well.
That's Cistus tea, C-I-S-T-U-S.
Yes, and it's really great. It's anti-inflammatory. It breaks down biofilm.
And it's sweet by itself. You don't need any sweetener with it. It's incredible tea.
Really good. It's really good. But the thing is the diet. Again, the diet is it's better than any Lyme diet you'll find. And you know, if you get on the diet, read the book, and start dealing with the environment, and you'll start getting better. And, you know, and we're here. You can email Richard like 1 to 3 questions a day. You can text or call me, and we're here to help.
With Lyme disease, I'd like to retrace that. I have a free report. It's because, you know, my experience with Lyme disease back around, I guess 13 years ago, after I had finally beaten the skin parasites and was really on stage 3 of the diet, so I was off the diet basically. Lyme disease just about destroyed my life, almost killed me. I could not drive a car without using a stick on the gas pedal. My leg was so painful I couldn't even drive a car. I could not sign my name. My handwriting was gone, impossible. And today I'm 99.99% free of all that. I can write. I can drive a car. I have no 24/7 pain. Rarely do I have any pain whatsoever anymore. So that's all detailed in my free report. Lyme disease doesn't have to own you anymore. The first thing, you know, I didn't go about this theoretically. I didn't even go about this to solve the problem. It's that I stumbled upon Max 1. So I was taking a multiple vitamin, and I was using the ionic minerals. since, maybe 2000. And then I stumbled upon Max 1, which boosted the glutathione, and I was surprised to find that within 6 weeks, 90% of my Lyme symptoms were history. And that was great. Life was livable. And about 2 years later, I stumbled upon Garcillin.
Yes.
1 capsule. And I had an incredible detox reaction. It took me 2 weeks to get rid of the inflammation in my knee. I had to buy a massage pillow to loosen up the lymphatics and drain it out. But by adding Garcillin, I went to 99% free of Lyme disease. Now, Lyme disease is known to create, well, first of all, Lyme disease loves toxicity. Boosting glutathione got rid of the toxicity. Lyme disease also creates biofilm. Chronic Lyme disease, we're not talking about you just get bit by a tick and you get the bullseye rash, you go to the doctor, he gives you the antibiotic, and you're done in a few weeks. But when Lyme disease burrows in and gets way beyond that stage, if it's not treated, then it starts its own defense mechanism and creates biofilm. So since then, we've come across the kinase enzymes, which are actually promoted to get rid of biofilm. So my feeling is that it's not a cure, but it's the first thing you want to do is nutritionally balance yourself with what we call the Columbia Lyme Pack. That's the multiple vitamin, the minerals, the Max 1 to boost the glutathione, and the Garcillin. And then add the kinase enzymes. When you do this, you may not need medical treatment. Again, it's not a cure. It's a fundamental base to build immune functioning. And you may not need treatment. If you do need treatment, the report details 4, maybe 5 very effective methods, from using antibiotics to rifing to vitamin C and salt, different treatments that you can use. And by using the nutritional approach that I have, you're pretty well guaranteed more effective treatment and getting your life back from Lyme disease. Now, as far as getting tested, Dr. Axe says, forget it, you're wasting your money. My feeling is, if you're going to get tested, the only test is microscopic. Do not go through the Western blot or any of those tests. There are too many false negatives, too many false positives. You don't know anything more than what, $500, and you don't know anything more than you did before. So take that money and put it into treatment or into supplements. There is a lab, Fry Labs, I believe, in Arizona that will do the microscopic test. So if you need something that is really right on, the microscopy is what you want, and that's what I had many years ago, that they can actually show you a blow-up of hair. The spirochete is invading one of your cells, and show you what it looks like when they're are exploding and coming out and multiplying. So that would be the only test I would recommend if you have to have a test. Any other questions there?
Yes, I have a couple more questions.
Okay.
Sorry, I had muted myself because my phone was ringing. Joanne from Washington wondered about the most effective amount of drops of essential oils to add to cleaning products, or when you're making mixtures for your body, actual effective recipes. So I can tell you Joanne, what I do, but I think it depends on your sensitivity and each person. In the electrostatic sprayer, I use a good-sized purple capful of garden-safe neem oil, which is about 1/4 of a cup, and I mix it with enzyme cleaner. For my body, I use about 1/8 of a cup of clove oil, peppermint oil, tea tree oil, each one of those, and then I mix it with either like 28 or 32 ounces of water, or a big maybe 2 cups of coconut oil with neem oil as the carrier oil. 2 cups of coconut oil and 1/2 cup of neem oil. That's what I do, but again, I would recommend being creative, and if you feel like it's not working, keep adding a little more of the essential oils until you get the right mixture for your particular mites and situation. I don't know if you'd like to add to that. I do have another question, Richard.
No, I really don't have a lot of experience using essential oils. My experience is limited in that regard because I haven't had a need for years now. So I've just gotten interested, and we've added essential oils only within the last 2 or 3 years. So personally, I don't have much experience.
Okay, can you tell again the name of the microscopic Lyme test? What is that called?
Well, it's just calling the lab, Fry Labs, and asking for a microscopy for Lyme disease, see if they do it.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And then I have another question. If you've been on Fenben for a few months, which I don't know how long you're supposed to be on Fenben, do you have to consume diatomaceous earth, and how long should you take it? If you don't see any parasites in your bowel movements, does that mean your body is clear or not?
Well, there are many people.
3 questions.
Well, there are many people who have parasites that never ever see them in their bowel movements, but they still have them. And how long to take Fenben? The site, when you complete the questionnaire and send it back to me, I'll provide you the link to the site, and at the bottom left is a phone number, and you would call them and ask them. They are the experts in Fenben. The lady who answers the phone, her name is Nancy. She's a very nice, wonderful person to talk to, very easy to talk to. And Dr. Luna, who has the site, he's an incredibly wonderful person. You probably won't get to talk to him, but anyway, they love hearing from our people, from us.
Okay, I think that's, here we go. Let's see. Let's see. Somebody is telling me that they had a blood cell analysis under a microscope that said no Lyme in Idaho, but they want a second opinion. Wondering about if it's Morgellons, mites, and mycotoxins.
Well,
you know, we
again,
talked about that earlier, and if you listen to the recording later, Richard went into detail, but the thing is that if you read the book and start the diet and the bathing and the disinfecting your environment, it's going to get better.
The questionnaire is super important. So if you haven't completed that questionnaire, send it back. And the protocol handles all of that from A to Z. It doesn't leave anything uncovered.
Okay, another question. How do you feel about chlorine dioxide for oxidizing microbes?
The jury's out on that one. I don't really have any feelings about that one.
I don't know anything about
chlorine dioxide. I'm trying to remember if that's the
MSM gel?
No, Miracle Mineral Supplement is chlorine dioxide, I think, which can be used, well, they use it internally. Some people do. It's like consuming a variation of bleach. I don't have it in my protocol. People do use it in their bath. I think there are a lot more friendly ways of dealing with one's body than consuming the MMS, not MMS, MSM.
Right.
Now, oxine is something that is used in the environment to disinfect. It's in the book. You have to go to Home Depot and get something, a fogging mechanism or whatever. And I haven't heard people actually using it or benefiting from it. So I think we have more friendly ways, whether it's using ozone or the electrostatic sprayer or simply our other disinfectants.
Right.
Any other questions?
No, I think that was all so far.
All right, we have what we can do. Chris, you can open up the lines if anybody would like to ask a question, and if there's feedback, we'll just have to endure it.
Yeah, I'm opening up now, Richard.
Thank you. Or we could just open 3 at a time and do a rotation.
Yeah, I have opened like 6 now.
Okay. There are 6 lines open. You heard that says you are now unmuted. So if you heard that message and you have a question or you would like to share, please do so.
Hi,
Otherwise,
this is
yes.
Candy.
Yes,
I
hi.
just have all the questions. Hi, honey. Thank you guys for trying to help everybody. I have been living in Idaho for 5 years, and I've had problems before here with chemical sensitivity and stuff. But it seemed like when we moved to Idaho, I got worse. And then the last year, as she said, I moved to Mountain Home, Idaho, and in the high desert by 10 miles from the military base up here. And I've gotten worse up here in this house. I tested for the mycotoxins when we lived down 30 miles from here. And then when we got here, now to me the house smells musty in certain places. It was built in 1958. I won't even go into the bedrooms or let them open the doors because I freak out. And the air here, the air quality here is bad too. So I go inside, I go outside, I go inside. My body is always in a state of toxicity and, stuff going. I'm always toxic. Wherever you squeeze me at, my tissue is inflamed and toxic. My chin right now is swollen from smelling the air, breathing.
Have you started the diet?
No, I just actually heard about you guys today. That's why I'm on here. I had not heard about you before.
And
Margie.
You have the book?
I haven't gotten anything yet. No, Margie just told me today that I needed to listen to you guys.
Okay. All right. So you can either email me at Nick, KNIC2 at Verizon. You didn't get an email from us. You just heard about it through Margie with a phone?
I just texted her your email.
Okay, fine. Email me.
Thank you.
And I will give you a link to sign up where you'll get the emails and so forth and send you the book to get started. Because
I have so much stuff, hon. I'm not even kidding you. I have Fenben. I have colostramine compounded. I have I have so much stuff to do things
right,
with.
But you have to start somewhere, and the book is.
But I don't know. Yeah, but the thing is, if I don't know,
getting an air purifier, there are some really good ones you can take.
I have those too. I have the Air Doctor, and I have the high-tech air mold machine too.
All right.
I have those.
Without the diet, all bets are off. I don't care if you got $1 million worth of products. I don't care if you got the best products in the world.
That'll be easy. That'll be an easy one because
it doesn't matter if you have all of our products. Without the diet, all bets are off.
Yeah. I was going to tell you that'll be an easy one because all I eat is organic chicken and avocados for like a year now, and that's it. That's all I've eaten. Nothing else.
Avocados could be feeding them. Avocados.
I know. I stopped. That's why I stopped taking those because someone told me that.
Okay. So yes, we'll get you started and you in the program. And in a couple of weeks, in about 6 months, you'll become one of our coaches. By the way,
okay, really? You're gonna make me cry.
We're looking for coaches, and we know you guys are out there. You've gotten your lives back, and you've got some time, and you would like to give back. So we're looking for other coaches that will work with us. And
can I get better, sir? Can I really get better?
Yes.
I can get better.
Sandy, I can't find your number, so if you text me, Robin, I'll text you Richard's number, email if you didn't get it. Because I texted I have so many people texting me.
Okay, I'll text you my phone number and put Candy Brooks.
Right.
Can I share something?
Yes.
Ma'am, you were just speaking and you just said, can I really get better? The one thing you shared was you said you were swollen and if anybody touched you, you would get in like your skin. I know exactly what you're talking about. And I've only known about this for maybe a little over a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. And just off the diet alone, I've seen a huge difference. And like my legs would swell up out of nowhere, and I didn't know. Or if somebody touched a part of my body, it would be like goosebumps, but like way worse, and it would swell up. And I haven't gotten that since I started this diet.
I get inflamed hive bumps all over me, and then they turn into tiny scabs all over me, randomly. That's what I get on my skin.
Yes.
But no open lesions. I don't get no open lesions.
I do believe that this is going to change your life. I do.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. The diet is incredible. And for the skin, the nature's gift in the bathtub, along with one of the friendly disinfectants, and your skin will be improving dramatically as you get it cleaned out.
Nature's gift.
Anyone else like to share or ask a question before we switch to the next 6 people? Okay, let's go to the next 6, Chris.
All right, open the next 6.
Okay.
Hey, Richard, I got something to say.
Hey, Richard, how you doing?
Okay, I've got something that I want to throw in there, and I don't know what you think about it, but I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I was exposed to Agent Orange. I had cancer from Agent Orange. And anyway, I brought up about this thing with the parasites with me, and a VA doctor said to me, he says, it could be related to the Agent Orange you were exposed to. And I said, really? He says, yeah. He says, we lose thousands or hundreds of Vietnam veterans every year because they were exposed to Agent Orange and with various things that showed up that we didn't have an answer for. And I know that was intriguing to hear that from them, but anyway, they told me that. And in closing, I want to say that you have done a fantastic job to help people, and I want to encourage you to keep it up because without you and your organization, I think it's a dead end road for people. Without the help and support that you do for all of us. And another question would be is, have you ever considered going on, I think the show's called Overnight with George Morey, and they bring up various aspects of things in life that happen that you don't hear commonly on the news or anything, and it might help a lot of other people too. anyway, I'll stand back and let you answer all this.
Well, first of all, Richard, I want to thank you so much for your kind words. It's people sharing like you have and writing us of their success is really what keeps Robin and I going. If we didn't get this feedback that we were making a difference in people's lives, we wouldn't be here. You know. So I want to thank you so much for that. Agent Orange, strangely enough, is a variation of glyphosate that is rather interesting. Glyphosate was derived out of Agent Orange. Lastly, about the show, if you could email me, I do have a publicist, and I will be glad to send that person, my publicist, that show, and my publicist will contact them and see if something can be set up. Thank you.
Okay. Well, it's called Overnight, and it's George Morey. Art Bell used to have the show when he was alive, and he died here about a couple years ago, I guess it was, and George Morey took it over. Down here it's on 1200 WOAI, which is a 50,000 watt station, but it comes on after midnight. It's only on after midnight. It's on all night long after midnight, and they cover things like UFOs, and they cover stuff that the public never hears about, or can't fathom that it really exists. And that's why I thought your knowledge could help a lot more people if maybe it was introduced on that show, because it goes into great detail, and you're the one that's got all the that you've known all this stuff, you've experienced all this stuff, where the ordinary person who hasn't done the research doesn't have a clue what's going on, and you do, and that's why I brought this up.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Richard. Anyone else like to share or ask a question? All right, let's go to the next 6.
Yeah, now everybody's pretty much open now.
Everybody's open. Okay, anyone else?
I could ask, I have an Apple Watch for, it's like an extra phone on your hand. Does that get infested or anything like that? How do I clean that?
Yes.
There's a lot of clicking and feedback. I have trouble understanding you.
She wears an Apple Watch. She wants to know if her watch can get infested.
If her what?
Any kind of watch.
Her watch. Oh, absolutely. Jewelry, watches, eyeglasses, shoes, anything that you wear is going to be infected. I used to wash my watch band with ammonia and then rinse it. You can put it in plastic bags. You can add in the our menthol crystals and keep them in plastic bags for a few days to help destroy these organisms.
Okay.
You can do your wallet that way. They're in your purse. They're in your wallet. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
In your wallet and your purse, you're going to want to put the menthol crystals right in there. Put them all in a plastic bag. Distribute the crystals throughout your wallet, all the compartments.
And I can order that through the store?
Yes, we have the menthol crystals in the store.
Okay, let me write that down. Cool.
Anyone else like to share or ask a question?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Curious how much exhaustion and just wanting to sleep. See, I don't have a problem with sleeping. I have too much sleep happening. Is that normal?
Yeah.
Because you're exhausted fighting this stuff, right?
Right, and you're exhausted cleaning and disinfecting and doing laundry.
Well, I don't even have, I'm not even doing what I should be doing in that protocol.
Well,
I mean, I need to get my rearing gear. What?
I think your body needs to sleep.
Too much sleep can, you know, you have to look at it and decide whether too much sleep for you might be an indication that you're depressed to some degree or other.
Absolutely. There you go.
Then I would get my program. It's only $6.95. Overcome Depression. It's I guarantee you, it's the most informative, effective program you'll ever find. Again, it's not to cure depression.
Is it verbal?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. I haven't gotten my form to you because I am computer illiterate, but I just got my Kyonese, all stuff that I needed to order is ordered. And I've had Nature's Gift forever. No, I don't know how long forever it's been.
Yeah, the CD is in the store. It's in the section with the books.
Oh.
Okay.
It's what? It's in the book too?
It's in the section with the book. In the store, there are different sections. There's a section for.
I thought the book.
No, in the store. In the store, there are different sections. There's a section for supplements. There's a section for oils. There's a section for teas. There's a section for books.
Oh, so it's a book.
Yeah.
All right, and
it's in that section where you're going to find the CDs.
All right, I'll work on that one.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to share or ask a question?
I was wondering, sir, if anybody ever has nonstop metal taste in their mouth where it doesn't go away no matter what you do. I have that in my mouth. And when we came out here, my eyes burn all the time and they're sticky. Same within my nose. And I never had that before. And then it got that way here.
Okay, you're not on the diet yet, right?
That's me. That's that same girl.
Yes, okay.
Whatever it is, sir, I was going to tell you that affects me. It makes me say, and this might sound crazy, but whatever's affecting me in the environment makes me say, and to me it feels like it's the air that I'm breathing in. It makes me say, Mama. I'll go, Mama, 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 and I'll keep saying that out loud and not on purpose. It's like I don't do it on purpose. My brain just does that.
Well, we need to get you into the program because all that you're experiencing is typical of what people deal with when they're dealing with these parasites. It affects your thinking. It affects your speech. It affects some people become paranoid. Some people, it affects you so dramatically. So there's nothing I can say except start.
So, sir, it could be I could have parasites then, right?
Well, if you complete the questionnaire, I'll be glad to educate you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to do that so that you can see, you'll know.
Yeah. So get that off to me.
Okay. I'm sorry for so many questions, sir.
And I know you got a million of them, and that's.
No, I just want to say I'm sorry to ask so many.
Don't apologize. No apology necessary. Okay.
Thank you.
We're here to benefit and help you any way we can. And the book, like I say, is important to read because, when you're reading the book, it's important to have a paper and pencil handy, maybe even some note, and take down notes. If the softcover copy of the book is affordable, it's only like $14.95 or $15.95 through us. Get it. You can make notes, put in Post-its. But it's really important to do that because there's so much information. Chapter 3, which is how to bathe, how to clean your body, how to clean your house, how to clean them out of your environment, is over 55 pages long. There are a lot of books that aren't that long. So it's a lot of information.
Yeah. Well, what I'd like to do is I'd like to get the free one just so I can start doing something. But I really would like just to have it in my hand, whatever I'm doing. That I have it all the time. So I'd rather just buy the book.
Let's get you started. Let's get you started. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else have a question or like to share?
Richard.
Yes.
Yeah. This is Dottie from Pennsylvania.
Hi, Dottie.
Hi. When you're taking an article of clothing out of the bag, when you have crystals in with it, do you just take the article out and shake it and like shake if there's any dead stuff on it?
Now you've laundered it. It's gone through the washer. You put it in the dryer. You've added in some ammonia, some sheets or whatever, and you've bagged it. And now,
right?
Okay.
I just want to make sure that everything is off of it, so I put crystals in it with it in the bag.
Yeah, I don't think you would need to do anything other than take it out and hang it up or wear it. Robin, you have any comment?
I would always wash it, no matter what you did before.
You wash it?
I would always wash it again with enzyme cleaner and borax and ammonia pre-soak. I would just want to be safe.
So
the crystals wouldn't. The crystals wouldn't take care of that.
Stuff. Well, but I can't say definitively that they will kill absolutely everything. So I mean, it's up to you. If you want to take a chance, go for it. But every time I take stuff out of a bag that I've disinfected now, I rewash it.
Okay.
Clothing.
Now, are the
crystals
that are left in the bag, are they reusable?
As long as they're, so the thing about the crystals is when they're in the bag and the bag is sealed airtight, then the smell from the crystals builds up in the bag, and that's what kills things. And as long as, I don't know if I never used them long enough for the smell to wear out. I mean, I used mostly, I didn't know about the crystals when I was doing that, and I used Nuvon strips, which is actually a solid pesticide. But Nuvon strip only lasts for 4 months. How do you spell that? N-U-V as in Victor, A-N. And menthol crystals allegedly work just as well, and they are poisonous. You don't want to breathe it in. But even with Nuvon strips, whatever I take out of a bag, if it's clothing, I wash it. If it's not clothing, I spray it.
No, let me get this straight.
I learned the hard way.
Let me get this straight. I'm a little confused, Robin. So you do the pre-soak, you put them in the washer, and use the hypochlorite or whatever you use in the washer. You put it in the dryer, you put in the ammonia or whatever. You take it out of the dryer, you put it in a bag. We add the
menthol crystals,
and then you wash it again.
Yeah, if it's been in a bag for 6 or 8 months. Like if it's seasonal clothing or whatever.
I thought you meant you
wash. If I washed it, put it in a bag, and I'm going to wear it in a week, then no.
Okay, that's what I want.
I assumed they were talking about, like winter clothes, spring clothes, summer clothes, fall clothes.
Okay. I wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
That sounds good.
Any other questions? Anyone like to share before we close the meeting?
I would just like for Chris, it's Gabby, if maybe I could talk to him about my order, but that could maybe be separate or another phone call.
Well, you can stay on the call when we're going to close up in a few minutes. Okay, so you can stay on the call and talk to Chris.
Perfect.
Anyone else have a question or like to share before we do close the meeting? We'll have the drawing, and then let's have the drawing, Chris. Who won? You either win a signed copy of the 10th release of the book, or $20 credit in our online store.
The last four number is 7067.
7067. If that's your last four digits of your number, you won.
That's me. That's Candy Brooks.
Okay, you're the winner.
Yay.
You're the winner.
Thank you.
So you can let Chris know after we close up in a bit that. So we're going to stop the recording now.
Okay.